everybody, it's Stormbreaker time. So this is kind of a follow-up video of everything I've kind of done with the Stormbreaker and a little bit of my impressions on what I think about it and how it runs, and kind of another overall review other than the open the box video. So let's get to it. So, as you can see, I changed the tires from the factory tires. I went to a little bit of a more aggressive off-road tire, I guess. This comes off. I got my antenna put on there. So a lot of that hasn't changed. What has changed is from when we put this together in the first place, I went to the 3652 motor instead of the 3665. I had plenty of room. I did it for weight wise. So that was the main thing. The other thing you'll notice is this battery tray and the battery. So obviously this is not the battery they give you, and it's not the battery tray they put in it right there. So let me show you what I did. So this is the battery tray they give you, and as you can see, these batteries fit in there. No problem, no issues, and they boom right in there in the same almost exact spot, if you will. Okay, I've moved the ESC back forward to the original location. The optional location is to move it back. This shifts more weight to the front. But the battery tray that's in here is basically the same thing as this. I found this, I was actually designing my own, and I thought, let me just get on there to see if anybody has made anything for the Rlaarlo Stormbreaker, and sure enough, somebody made this battery tray, which fits these flat 2-cell batteries, right? Which is what I really want to run in this. I'll get to why and all that here in a sec. So here's the little battery for the tray. As you can see, fits right in there, no problem. I actually made, I made like a little block to put in there, but it was too tight, and you'd have to flip the whole thing to get it out. Anyway, obviously you can see this would fit in this one if you put it this way, but then you have way too much play in every direction. I didn't want to do that. So I found this. What I've done to this one, I printed one out of just regular PLA just as a sample to see if it was going to work, and he has this big brace thing here which sits on the metal chassis. So one of the things that I did is I cut it here and I cut it there, and I removed this centerpiece right here for weight, because that's just heavy, don't need it. Okay, the other thing is I didn't think I needed this piece here because it really doesn't do anything right there. So I chopped that off as well. Okay, those are the only two things I've done. Now, unfortunately, I printed this one out of ASA carbon fiber, and when I tried to snug up a strap going this way, okay, it broke the little piece out. So I'm printing a new one in Fiberon, which is a lot stronger, should work well, but I'm going to actually run the straps this way, so that won't matter, but I just didn't like the way it looks. My OCD, I guess. So the other cool thing about this new battery tray, if I decided, I could run a pair of 3S packs. So you could either run it in parallel and you'd get 4400 milliamp out of a 3-cell, which is really nice. That's a lot of power for this. Or if a guy was really brave and he put the right motor and gear in it, he could run that thing on 6S. That would be crazy. Hate to see that go. So that's kind of what I've done with this. Now, they also give you an optional tray for the Stormbreaker. So you put this in here, you have to move the ESC back, and you can run the standard like 5200 packs in here, and that's fine and dandy, but you got to flip them up. The weight's higher. I didn't want to do that. So I really like this idea. I'd give credit to the guy, and I don't remember who it was, but through the Bamboo Studio, just put in Rlaarlo Stormbreaker and it'll pop up, and you can download his print. He did a really good job. Like I said, I wouldn't have put this whole thing the whole way. In fact, I was almost thinking of just cutting it, but I made it even so they look kind of the same. So anyway, long story short, I think it printed out really well. I like how he did the things for the straps. They are. I think the PLA is almost stronger than that ASA because this has a little more flex to it, so I don't think it would break. So I don't know why. It's just the carbon fiber, I guess, so brittle. That's why I did it. But these are a little thicker on the ends, so I think that's cool. So I've already run this truck a little bit out in the new, very new track I've got in the yard. And the track is roughly about 95 feet long by roughly 30 to 34 feet, 35 feet wide. Right now I'm doing an oval, and I'm saving money to buy more of that corrugated 4-inch pipe. So I have a 4-inch all the way around. That was 200 feet, so I'm missing a bit on one end. And I'll get to that. And then I'm going to do an infield here in a few weeks and get that all staked down. So, but it was fun running around with the car. The car handled really well. On a depleted 3-cell battery with the other motor in here, which was a 4000, this is a 4100, I believe. And I think the 15 or 16 tooth pinion. On a depleted battery, and I mean depleted, 47 miles an hour. So it's plenty fast with a 3-cell if I want to go that route. But that's why I went with the 4000 kV to run 2-cell. And I've got another project that you guys haven't seen yet, but I got a little 2-wheel buggy kit that I bought, a Yokomo, I don't know how you say it. YOKMO, Yokomo. And I bought this for that, and I'm glad that they fit in this as well. So that's really cool. And that'll be a kit build. We'll go through that and get that built. And that's for the track outside. I might enter some racing. It's a very entry-level but very competitive car, so we'll see how that all goes. I got ESC and motor coming for it. Or actually what I'm going to do, because I want it to go slow for now, I'm using the stock ESC and motor from this, which is a 3650, what is it, a 2650 kV and a 60 amp ESC. That's going to go in the Yokomo. So that'll be interesting to see how that works. I've got more motors, so I can always motor up. That's not a problem. I've got a new ESC and motor coming for this. So one of the issues I've had, I really like this Mamba X. It works really well. The nice thing about the Mamba X is they have an auxiliary wire, and if you don't know what an auxiliary wire does, you can go into the software for the Mamba X and you can pick like one of 6 items that you want your VR knob or a switch to control on your transmitter. So what I like using is the drag brake. So what the drag brake does is you have the VR knob on the radio, and you can, here I can show you. So here's my radio link, and the radio link has this VR knob right here. So it's a variable adjustable knob, and I can control how much drag brake I have while I'm driving. So I like using the drag brake when I'm coming into a corner. I can let off the gas. It'll slow down the amount of brake that I want, and then I can come into the corner and accelerate back coming out of the corner. Without the variable drag brake, you're going to have to test it, go back in the house, reprogram it, go back out, test it. This, you just move the dial, boom, you can set it the way you want, and off you go to the races. So the problem I have with this vehicle is I'm running a hobby wing motor, and a Castle ESC. The only Castle motor I have is it's like a 3665, 3674, something like that. I think it's a 1415, but it's a 2400 kV, so it's not as much kV as I want. So I didn't put it in there, so I bought the Hobby Wing for it. And the problem I've got is, here's the Hobby Wing sensor wire, and I've got the adapter that goes to the ESC right here, okay? The problem is when I hook up the sensor wire to the motor and the ESC, the drag brake does not work. Absolutely will not work. And I was scratching my head figuring what's going on. I tried another motor, did the same thing. Well, I figured it out, and with Castle's help as well. If I unplug the sensor motor wire, the drag brake works fine. If I plug in the sensor wire, it doesn't work. So if anybody's having that issue and they want to run the drag brake from a Castle to, at least I know, a Hobby Wing, it isn't going to work. Unless you run an uncensored motor, then it'll work just fine. And you also want to have, especially in really tight corners on a track, you want to be able to have that low control with the censored motor that you won't get, it'll cog like a bugger without it. So I ordered a XC system, an XC10 ESC, which is I think it's 140 amp ESC, which is obviously more than I need, and a 3660 or a 3652. It is a, what is it, the kV? I think it's around 4,000. I think it might be 4,000, which is exactly what I wanted. So I'll put that in there when it shows up. I'm really disappointed because I was really hoping I could use this Mamba X. Now, one of the things I may try, because the XC motors have this same fitting right here for the sensor wire, I will try that motor before I pull this Mamba X out and see if that motor will work with the sensor wire and the drag brake, because their ESC also comes with that auxiliary wire so you can run the drag brake. If that's the case, that'll work out really good for me. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But the Mamba X is a great ESC. It's small. I've never had an issue or problem with it. I've not used it a ton, to be honest with you. But, you know, the little bit I've used it. So the next thing I'm going to do later today is I'm going to build these are 4mm plugs. I've got some really nice ends coming that are 90 degree. And I'll get a female and wire it to those plugs, and then I can plug them in, and then I can plug it right in there. Obviously, a lot of the racers, they just put the plugs on the end of the wires. I don't want to do that because I'm going to run different batteries. I can run the 3-cell if I want, or a pair of the 3 cells if I want. So I'm not going to do that. So that's where I'm at with that. So I hope that helps anybody if you're interested in doing this, whether it's with the Rlaarlo or without. Please keep in mind, I've got in the comments below, I've got a 8% discount on anything Rlaarlo. You can go to their website and you'll get automatically 8% off. There's a 10% off coupon on the Rlaarlo Terminator. So I hope that helps you guys out. I was given that from Rlaarlo to pass it on, so I'm passing it on. But there you go. So I've exchanged those two options for that option, and I think that was a better choice. I hope everybody has a great day. Enjoy your drive. And if you ever get around this area, if you're coming to Tennessee, let me know, and we'll come out in the back and go run the cars. There you go. Anyway, everybody take care, and hope you have a great day. Later.